And here we go.
All right, we're ready to kick it off. The big question is going to be, my money's going to be on at least 2 recons per team.
Looks like you're only half right.
I guess I get a push by which in blackjack turns to just get my money back. No innings. So Hosemi and Kuti are expected recons. I definitely did not expect anything else from them. BONK is going full assault. Not a bad pick on third plate. You can really utilize the assaults pretty well. I'm going to quickly check out the control of the warehouse. Warehouse is surprisingly quiet already. It seems maybe people have watched the match and seen that like the warehouse has not been utilized much. It seems Hosemi is the only one there.
Looks like there might be a bit of a engagement about to happen.
Well, NSF is having the ghost, a very wise choice he made. They get to have overview over everything that is not the warehouse.
And they spawn with it close, so... Oh, and Hosemi gets a flank on Muffin. Gets traded by Master.
Trades are always important. That's why we always like appreciate seeing plays with groups of 2 or more when they push any choke point or any bigger place.
Right. Looks like Jeff is running away.
I mean, they currently have the advantage by 1 person. Basement seems to be favored by Denogen and Gabe here. It's kind of a good position to be in right now.
Looks like Denogen's pushing up out towards the parking lot, where he might pick up the ghost, which he has. He's going to get pushed, but he's backed off into the office.
Very good that he did not back away from his gun quickly to go back in and get on to fight.
And there we go, Dennis joins up and catches them off guard. They thought he was alone, but turns out he wasn't.
Yeah, they like holding the basement when you're outnumbered is a very good way to be able to find an opening, unless you are facing somebody that has a ghost. But even then, considering that the basement is a little bit tangled up, if the person's not too familiar with calling out the enemy, I can see it still being a better position to be in than anywhere else.
Yeah, looks like Kudigo's going to go support this time. Still seeing all assaults on NSF.
The ghost is relatively centered, close to the elevator, so the Jinrai team has a way to quickly get the intel. Let's see if they're directly going for it.
Looks like NSF's taking a bit of time watching vents and basement.
A justified worry, really. Kuti just getting that entry against Kanoko right here.
Yeah, well, somebody's already pushed through the vents and is near the flatbed. Oh, but Master's watching the vent.
What I find interesting is it's, to just quickly jump in here. I saw that Hosemi had the shotgun. Was that traded? Did anybody catch that?
Oh, it must have been because it was probably Kuti who traded, since Kuti was SRM support.
So the ghost is now coming into play. Gabe is giving the comms. They're so outnumbered, so they have nothing to worry about. Just pull out the location and go. Yeah,
well, Muffin was pretty trapped there. He had 2 people in front of him, and unfortunately couldn't get that last hit on Kudigro's down to 2 health. It's always a shame when you do like 98 to a support, like 7 hits.
Very, very tough fighting words from Wahaha.
I believe that that might go
Fighting
to OP.
From BONK. Seems like both are still in it to win it. The morale seems high for both teams, and that's what we want to see.
Exactly. It's no fun if people get upset. I mean, this is all for fun after all.
So it seems like Jeff is instantly trying to go for basement again. This time there seems to actually be more warehouse action from NSF side, whereas Jinrai once again is pulling up in the basement primarily. It seems like they really do favor the underground.
I mean, it usually ends up like this. One team will be watching the warehouse and one team will take the basement. And usually ends up who gets the first pick will try to take over the other's territory.
I really do appreciate Wahaha's position compared to the rest. Everybody kind of holding out in the basement or other open locations, whereas Wahaha is holding back behind the truck. A very good overlook to have. Tentacle getting the entry on Kuti. They're now outnumbered.
Engine pushing through Sparks.
Hosami now pushing into with the shotgun.
Cannot go get Stenton.
It almost could have worked, but it seems people were a little bit too aware about what was happening there.
4 to 2 players left for NSF. Gabe hiding in the basement, and Waha still behind the yellow flatbed.
Waha seems ready to just toss a nade on the first person he sees, whereas it's going to be interesting for Gabe to hold out in the basement. He might have some engagements coming for him soon.
Especially with that shotgun, he needs to stay far away from that office with all that glass.
Yeah. If I would know that there's people playing shotguns, I would definitely sit on top of griddles or behind the windows, at least with one person. Try to counter that pocket.
See, Gabe's moved up to T now, which is right beside the ghost. Master's watching the entrance, though.
BONK has to start pushing, because if they're just going to let a timeout, that's not going to work for him.
Oh, and Gabe gets the lucky super shot.
Gabe just coming in there being like, hey, I'm here. Face me.
Maybe that'll get Jeff to push up from his relatively reserved spot near the office.
They're slowly plinking away at NSF at this point. Jinra just playing it smart, holding an angle, just waiting for them to come out.
Yeah, they've tied numbers, but there's only 5 seconds left in the round.
Oh,
This one's probably going to time out.
Sadly, not going to work for BONK at all here. Every tie right now is going to favor Jinrai back and back and back and back.
Yep. I feel like that might be a bit of a weakness with the format being a best of rather than first two.
Well, the problem with the first two, though, we know what that problem is.
You don't want to play first two.
That's true. I remember, actually, it was you, your team versus us on Dawn.
Not only that, but it also was...
BONK just needs to learn how to play this map. They should have pushed basement.
Suna with his team against... Oh, I forgot who it was. And it was like so many rounds back to back, and I kind of lost any will to live trying to commentate that.
I'll let you in on our fight against each other on Dawn. I kind of threw. After like overtime 6.
Yeah.
Not like on purpose or anything, it just wore me down.
So,
First action from Kudagre.
There's that smoke. They got the ghost, they can call it. They're in the advantage. Just don't do anything rash. Hosami with the shotgun just coming in, trying to like soften them up now.
Hosami pushes through yellow down to the basement.
Actually, no. Hosami doesn't have the shotgun this time. I think.
Looks like
So
Jeff
better
is.
Watch out for Hosami here.
NSF's definitely using their ghost to their advantage. They've turned that
They may have
around.
hurt the cloak.
They might have, hopefully, but they've picked up the ghost, so they will know.
Yeah.
And Muffin gets Hosami. Leaving Gabe all alone in T.
Gabe is sitting here by himself. Position compromised. They have to.
Got the distance and threw a smoke on a support. Definitely not the most advantageous position to be with that Supa.
Falling back into the basement. 50 seconds on the clock.
I mean, they have numbers. They should probably just pick up the ghost and get moving. Focus on maybe getting a cap instead of trying to force the kill on Gabe.
Well, Gabe is sitting in a room, camping, behind glass. They should just, push that.
Yep. Especially since they know where Gabe is, but looks like they don't want to go for the cap, which will end up in another tie for... Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon.
Muffin commits. Gabe seems to have come out. If they would have had a recon, the corner he was sitting in, he could they could have come from the vents and just seen into the corner. Of course they don't really know that this would happen, of course, but
No, of course.
well, it would have been possible too if you had a really good bunny hopping assault. Let's not exclude that. There are
No, for sure.
able to do it.
bit of trading going on NSF, though someone left a gun on the ground. A bit of confusion. There's a support without a gun. Oh, he's picked up the ghost, that's why. But all that delay has already let Jinrai get hold of the warehouse.
Well, not only the warehouse, but like basement as a whole. They're at all choke points imaginable that could be interesting. Deno pushing past Spark with Hosumi, whereas Kudi's already in the vents. They're just hiding out.
Yep. Looks like NSF's going to try to hold all these angles, but all Jinrai has to do is wait for them to push. They have the advantage here.
Not anymore in this case. Well, they have the advantage as long as there is, you know, a timeout. But number-wise right now, they can turn it around. And they are turning it around.
Definitely good to see. Hopefully Jeff will be able to help his team here going into the basement.
Tentacle is getting dangerously close to facing off Kudi at these stairs if he's going to commit. Pretty low health too, so it's going to be interesting. I don't know why Kudi is sitting there specifically. Maybe he has a dead pack there, or he just wants to get the drop on someone.
Which he does. It's a shame there.
Gabe is low health and Kudi's medium health. The problem with that is, like, the major problem I see now is Kudi is sitting in the vents and they have nobody to get in there. They literally don't. So Kudi could just sit in there to time it out, which is as dumb as it is.
It's definitely doable, and Kudi tries to peek, and Jeff is going for the pistol. Gets lit up from behind from Waha.
Kudi's not going to leave the vents.
No, and it's too powerful of a position right now. Jeff probably should head through the basement, where Kudi can't get to him.
If they're smart, they're just going to have a recon or two that doesn't necessarily commit to the vents next round.
Oh, Gabe trying to shoot through glass with his Supa. Ah, Jeff gets caught by Gabe. And Jinrai wins that round.
No, they don't. It's a timeout.
It's a timeout.
Oh, it's a timeout? Oh. Yeah, as a spectator, I'm not hearing the music. I don't know if that's a known glitch, but...
It's because I'm a spectator.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
Well, here's the problem that they're going to face. They need a recon. And they now have one. It's Kinoko. I guess they realized what's happening there. Because you don't want anybody to just hide in the vents to time it out, or to just be cheeky like that. Don't use your recon early. Just, you know, try to let the others get the pick for you. And if the recon's still missing, if you don't get a kill on Kudi or Hosumi, which they can probably safely confirm one of them is a recon, then try to sweep the vents.
Kinoko gets the drop on Kudi in the basement under the grill. He backs off down through the yellow hall. But he's being chased by Denogen, who backs off once again. Oh, Denogen down to 1 HP and tries for a nade and fails. He's flanking around to containers though, and...
The only thing they have going for them is the warehouse control right now, and Gabe really just face planting into Jeff. Now has the ghost, they're swapping it around. Well, Intel just shifted dramatically. Now they have to pull up in the warehouse and try to get there so they can all, you know, defend that ghost. What a trade of those.
But still got the HP advantage. Oh, maybe they don't. They've got some quite hurt players.
This is massive. The fact that they all just have the warehouse now and they literally forfeit the ghost to them into that is such a shift of dynamic. They don't have to come out, but they're still trying. A brief peek out into the junction, and he's just taking a look. There's not much he has to do, just call the locations where they're coming from. It's like holding the house. Like, just playing the flash game. Defend the house tree or something.
Exactly. Tower defense.
I
mean, why push into potentially losing when you can hold a choke point as big as this? You've got the points advantage, so if it times out, it's still in your favor.
Honestly, the only thing that they could do is not to pick an opening, but to pick the basement, because the griddle is fairly sizable. Sure, it would be called out, but...
Might be able to disturb them so someone can flank around, you know.
There's not much chance of a flank. There's 2 versus 3. If anything, they would have to pincer.
True.
And at this
Muffin
point...
does get the kill on Hosumi, but 7 seconds left.
Yeah, at this point it's a bit late of a commit.
I was going for the hunting. Catches Muffin, and Kinoko's gonna hide in the van.
And there is another timeout. It's 2 to 1 for Jinrai.
Timeouts?
Yep, 2 to 1 for Jinrai, so it's still in their favor. The more timeouts they have, the more every round is going to be of value.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that if they even it out, like just imagine, BONK evens it out, they start timing out more and more. It would be.
Let's go to sudden death.
Yeah, it would be fantastic because then you really have to like worry about any step of the way.
Exactly. Every shot counts, every point of damage matters.
So that would be a different kind of thrill. They're not going to go for any like decisive rounds here because they're always entering with 1 or 2 kills like Waha right now.
Yeah, he pushes into the middle of the warehouse and gets Muffin, and Master can't seem to see him. He's playing cat and mouse around the boxes.
Well,
he
the
gets
trade
him.
is here. Trade happened, so we're down to an even. But it seems like the health favors Jinrai right now by a little bit. Well, not only the health, but the ranks. Take a look at that. 4 sergeants on the corporal against the whole team of corporals. So the firepower is also not equally distributed at this point.
Well, they do have 2 corporals with support on NSF, where they have... Hosumi flanks from behind and gets Kinoko. No one seems to be watching the parking garage. Oh. Tentacle comes out and catches Hosumi.
They keep trading. I think what happens here is that the constant trades make everybody like grow more hesitant the more the numbers decrease.
Yeah, you don't want to die and tip the balance of power even further against your team.
Look at these trades. Everything has been a trade so far.
Yep. It's a 2v2 right now. Kudi and Denigen both on either entrance to the warehouse. There's Masters in the basement near the parking garage, leaving Tentacle all alone in the warehouse.
Tentacle just crouch walking along the griddles to not make any noise, but it's funny because he would have had company from below anyway. Speaking of that, Masakatsu just catching him looking the wrong way. Critical standoff. Who was gonna make it? Grenade comes in, but it bounces off. Awkward angle.
One hit. This is really a who sees who first here.
Insta-gib just happening here. They're threading past the boxes. Nobody's hitting. Last basement push. Actually, no, he's taking the elevator back up. Really
7 seconds, and he gets the advantage with the precision weapon.
2 to 2. Every time matters.
Very well played from Master there.
Completely giving up intel the ramp before, and now they're just slowly letting the trades do the work for them.
They've tied this up, so now timeouts are also in their favor. Or less, at least, in All Hammer No Sickle's favor.
I don't know why they're not calling the pause
going on. It'll be paused next freeze time.
Yeah, they have to play this round.
Oh, it's a shame they're just past the timer. I don't know if you can unpause before.
No, you have to unpause once the pause is active. Anyhow, it kind of works against them. They shouldn't just ask for a pause. I should call the pause.
Yeah.
Well, to get back to the match, Jeff, who seems to be the primary goal caller for their team, is once again holding the ghost, you know, laying down the foundation, the base now putting in the smoke.
Master going on a fight in the basement.
they're definitely doing the right thing by always bringing the ghost forward when they can, at least to increase the distance to the cap zone.
Seems like Sosomi's down pretty low. Must have taken that fight with Master in the basement. Now going through the vents, maybe gonna get a cheeky flank. Yep, Master's not watching from the vents. Gets caught off guard.
Jeff should have seen that coming, but he may have just looked the wrong way at that time.
Yeah, I don't think Jeff even knows that Hosomi was in the vents. Yep, as Jeff gets caught by Hosomi from the vents.
I think Jeff was really caught up in trying to toss away the ghost, picking it up again to, like, really get out of the line of sight.
It's always, like, scary when there's a gun in it and the ghost down, and you want to pick up the gun and you pick up the ghost by accident.
We're now facing a really strong favor for AHNS to really get back into the game here. Turn it into their favor.
It's
So
all
1 versus 4.
resting
and there's
on
no
Muffin.
hiding.
At this point, might be better off to go for the suicide by cop method.
Uh-oh. They're not going to kill him at this rate.
No, they're gonna go for that
Just
cap.
gonna let him. Uh-oh. It's right there.
Does Muffin have
And
time?
it's done.
Unfortunately not. It's unfortunately 4 of their players now at Lieutenant, while 4 of NSF is still on Corporal.
Well, they're pausing the game.
Yep, that's the pause from earlier now taking effect. 60-second pause.
And they're instantly on pause again.
Alright, so it will be a 15-second pause.
Too bad the unpause is broken, you just have to wait.
A lot of people think so, but it's once both people unpause, it starts a new timer for 15 seconds, and most people don't realize it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's quite a long wait, but people all start freaking out and spamming unpause in the chat.
Yeah, because it doesn't say anything, that's why we think it's broken.
No, exactly. It just says that the other team has to reconfirm.
That makes sense though.
So, well, we're back in the game. All ties once again now favoring Jinrai, so it means that BONK is fighting the uphill battle here. I think they can make it happen.
Some weird trade stuff going on. Someone's got no weapon, that's Jeff. But I think Jeff's just gonna rush for the ghost.
I think Jeff traded his firepower off to the break bomb. Also, me just barely making it happen to get shotgun kills. Done.
It's a shame Jeff didn't pick up that Jide silence that was just left at spawn. Would have been probably a better firepower than just this Kyla there. Oof. And Tentacle Cake gets caught out there.
Oh man, what a hasty round.
I mean, when you're fighting an uphill battle in both XP and points, it can be really disheartening.
Yep, and now they have 4 lieutenants. Well, they had 4 lieutenants to begin with, after that cap, I think. But yeah, the 4 lieutenants really do be the problem. But considering that I see an AA and a shotgun, why not try to go for a basement? Why not hold out in the office with 1 or 2 people? Somebody goes down there. Denojin is down there. Now he has the office. Push him now.
Kubi, support PZ. In the computer room.
He seems out for pure bloodlust in events right there. But yeah, at this point they should realize, okay, they got lieutenants, they got shotgun heavy players, fortify in the basement, utilize those windows, utilize every surface you can find.
Yep. I mean, especially against the A13.
Yeah.
Even with low rank weapons, you can definitely get the advantage if you've got glass on your side. But Jeff does trade Kinoko with Denojin.
Not to mention that the ranks really don't help. What I am confused about, take a look at Tentacle.
Yeah, that is
Why is he having the SRMS?
that is a concerning pick
here?
for support. It's definitely the result of some weird trading going on. On the other hand, it seems like Jeff was able to steal Enogen's A13. Hopefully he can make use of it. Jeff getting into the vents as an assault.
This is their time to shine. Could keep swapping to the ghost. Should get him with the pants down when he has no gun to utilize. Gabe just trying to fight through the threat plate, not working. This could tip the scales.
In the containers now. Went for a 1v1 with someone who's run back into T.
Jeff just so hung up on the TGR cat, he's just vibing. What is he waiting for?
Oh.
What was he waiting for?
No clue. But that does let Tentacle get the SRMS kill.
Swap the gun. Swap the gun.
Uh,
Tentacle, you're on top of a PZ.
I think he's looking for it. Yeah.
It's like he heard me.
Fortunate didn't work out for him.
Timeout. Fourth timeout. Really weird calls going on in BONK's team. I don't know why Jeff was holding back. Maybe he was hoping to not be seen in the vents, but he was directly poking out. He was like sticking his face almost against the griddle, trying to see the enemy.
I think he was trying to knife the vents out to like sneak out, maybe? I'm not entirely sure what was going on there.
He had direct line of sight on the enemy. And then the other problematic call is the fact that Tentacle was running around with a silenced SRM, which is probably the worst pick you can have.
Especially for support. I mean, maybe not. Support does have the extra HP, but definitely doesn't make it a viable pick.
Yeah, over normal SRM? Hell no.
It's slightly less worse, maybe.
Tentacle is just sitting on top of the ghost, not picking it up yet. Might be really good, because if they're trying to counter any aggressive play, they might not expect somebody not picking up the ghost.
Right. Probably worry about someone pushing the yellow hall.
Yeah, now he's up on it. Just keeping an eye out.
Muffin's watching that hall. Oh, he gets pushed with a Supa by the looks of it. Probably Gabe.
Really good engagement here. Both on Katz's side towards the stairway and vents, and in the back.
Oh. Seems to be in the basement.
Kudi is in the basement. He's just relaxing there. Wahaha taking the fight and actually winning, protecting the basement. They once again got a really good position down there. And I'm still missing BONK in the basement.
Oh, nice grenade from Muffin killing Kudi there.
That was no grenade, that was a death pack.
It was a death pack, you're right.
It is very rare to see stationary death pack play, so that was really appreciated. Wahaha once again now holding his ground in the warehouse. Really a favorable position for them if they're not, you know, in a corner where there's many openings. Right.
I mean, this is a 2v1. And Muffin's got a shotgun to back up Jeff. Well, I was just going to be watching yellow from the grill. 30 seconds on the clock here. Muffin could probably flank around.
Muffin's just holding with the ghost. They really shouldn't do that. Another problem is that, you know, they're in the basement with the shotgun, and shooting through the flashlight is not going to do them a lot of favors. Wow.
Can it even pass through that?
It can.
Oh. Muffin's maybe got the right idea. 10 seconds to get the kill.
Go in there. Get him.
Waz right up the elevator. And Waz kills him.
Wow.
And it's a tie again.
They almost could have got the... Oh, wow. They almost could have got the kill for getting yet another round in their favor, making it very, very thin. The next tie will mean an automatic match point for Jinrai.
And if that happens, I mean, NSF has to win everything, and then it will go to sudden death. So having to win 3 in a row, this disadvantage is probably not something they want to bank on.
I'm just carefully observing here before making any calls. So here's what I've expected from Cootie. Cootie's now once again in the vents doing his thing, yes, but he actually now placed the dead pack on the stairs. The problem, look at the dead pack though. That dead pack is clipped into one of the stairs and might not work out at all.
You think so? Yeah, if someone's on the top of the stairs, it might get blocked by the stairs. If someone's near Sparks, though, it would probably kill them.
Everybody a little bit reserved here, holding their ground. Not much happening in terms of engagement. It's literally just who holds the better angle at which time. Surprisingly quiet, but that might change. Tentacle now actually on the move to call out positions.
Oh, and the vent opens above Kinoko, and the shot is whiffed. Cootie does no damage despite having the drop on him.
Now, if only he would have kept the dead pack and tried to drop that in there, that could have legit done some work.
Yeah, I don't believe Kinoko heard the vent open. At least not until the second shot.
I feel like they're really reliant on the ghost here, whereas, you know, Hammer is not having it at all.
Oh, and Master with the double kill in the warehouse.
Problem here again, Cootie is just hamming it up in the vents as one of the last people alive. If Muffin does not move into the vents, there's no chance to once again prevent the timeout.
I mean, 2 versus 5 at this point. They're probably gonna have to. Oh, there you go. That dead pack did work out for Cootie. Brings it down to a 3v2. And a timeout.
Oh, jeez. This means they now have to win the next 2 rounds. If BONK does not win the next 2 rounds, no fail, they will have lost the first map. These ties are piling and piling. Kind of harsh.
Yeah. I mean, it is the lesser of 2 evils, though, right?
It definitely is. I find it interesting that the vent is utilized as a leverage to decide if they just gonna push for a win or just push for a timeout. On the other hand, I find it a little bit, pardon my French, I find it a little bit lousy. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It is a viable strategy, I'll give them that, but that's, I find that a little bit weak of a backup strategy to fall back to. Cootie's
Looks
so
like,
passive in there.
Jinrai is going for a full assault round this time, pushing hard. Tentacle once again with the ghost. I feel like NSF's too scared to move with the ghost. So they get stuck and pigeonholed into these places you don't really want to be stuck.
Yeah, if you want to play with the ghost, you have to have a dynamic that allows you to not just give information, but use the information to move. The movement is a very important factor here, because the way they're doing it right now, the smoke maybe being the answer. It's nearly as if they heard me
with the grenade.
But as I was saying, the ghost not only should be a leverage to see the enemy, the ghost should be a leverage for distraction.
Jeff does get Gabe through the floor. And Jeff somehow gets that kill on Dungeon. That is pretty lucky.
It's just out there trying to slay him. He's probably one of the strongest shots in the current state of that match. Oh.
Oof, that AA-13 is definitely going to stop them in their tracks there. Tentacle with a 10 health left.
Cootie just out here. 2 AA kills on the stairs, and just to seal it all up, he gets that grenade kill.
Oh, Master was going for that cheeky flank, but Waha was covering his back.
Ah.
All relies on Tentacle Cake with 10 health. And Kyla.
Devastating. They had a complete set of members that could have actually done work here, and they all fall to one person because they all tried to peek it. If you are going to put yourself into a tighter spot like the stairway where there's not any way to maneuver, don't repeat the same mistake 3 times.
No.
Let them come to you and set up. You had an office next to the stairs that had windows. We know what shotguns do with windows. They don't per se work.
No.
Just use that.
Actually, not 2G. It's match point. I thought maybe we miscounted.
We miscounted by 1. I'm apologizing for that misinformation.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. Well, was it match point? I thought it was match point last round too. Did it?
It was match point, but this was a tie, so I mean.
Match point would have mattered if Jinrai would have won, making it impossible to catch.
Right.
But if it's a tie this time, they should.
So here's another factor that I want to point out. With them picking up the ghost, it's a good idea to move as a group. I don't fault them for that. But look at what they're doing now. We have 1 person in the warehouse, and this is really good. With NSF in the warehouse, having 1 or 2 people, with them focusing on the ghosts, if they're really tunnel vision, they will not expect to be flanked. Set yourself up so they focus the ghost. Oh my god.
Let's go Tentacle with the nade. Jeff drops the ghost, runs back to go find his gun, I think.
Really big. They really need to capitalize on this.
And they've pretty much... I mean, they do have the player advantage right now. Gotta use that to their advantage and see if they can finish what they started here.
Waha's falling back to the truck he was at. Cootie's holding a very cheeky angle at the stairs. They're both covering the same entrances.
Yep. I mean, but they can see the ghost through the walls, right? So if the ghost decides to wrap around, they'll know. So this is all relying on either Jeff or Muffin to flank.
Muffin has... Okay, once again, Muffin, this is really big. This is what I was talking about. They're focused on the ghost. Muffin is actually going around. He's going for the big circle.
Yep, and Jeff's going through the vents. Looks like he is knifing the vents. Oh, Jeff and Waha fighting.
Get in there. Oh.
Jeff gets Waha. Cootie's last, watching the vents where Jeff is. Not paying attention. And Muffin catches Cootie. That was a great round from BONK.
This is what I meant. This is what I was talking about. They need to pull a circle. They need to not form up on the ghost. They need somebody that goes all the way around to make sure they can sweep up from the side when they don't expect it. This is how you break apart a team that is holding defensive lines. I mean, they might have a person covering the flank if they're expecting of it, but if you're outnumbering them, and you have a pincer strategy going to a point which is as open as the truck, you should be able to pick the fight and win.
Splitting up that was pretty great. I mean, maybe it was the 200 IQ play. They were playing all together so that Jinrai would expect them to all come as a single unit.
Now, if they're really going to utilize the ghost again, and they do have the potential once again, it is right there. That's what they should be focusing on. The placement of the other players that are not the ghost carrier. So Jinrai is completely seizing control of the warehouse here.
Master with the SRS pick.
The moment the ghost is picked up, they kind of already have an idea where the other people are. The SRS pick is... I'm not exactly sure how that's going to play out, but...
I mean, if you've got it and you can use it, might as well, right?
The problem here is that he's so close to like an immediate choke point next to him. He's going to have to land a really good flick or no scope if he wants to come out of that.
I think he's kind of relying on Kinoko, who's holding that angle from inside. If he knows Kinoko goes down, he knows he can pull out his Tachi and run away. Osami's watching the entrance there.
Made clear, Kinoko pushes. Very daring push past the warehouse. He can now confirm that there's at least one person in there.
Jeff also gets past, is now in Sparks.
I get what they're trying to do here. This is an interesting idea. I think they're trying to circle the warehouse. The problem is they have to get past basement, which, if I remember correctly, Cootie is watching.
Well, he is watching it from the grill, but I don't think anyone is in the basement level. Gabe is fighting a support in smoke through the T-junction. But Denigen does catch the basement from the parking garage.
So Master, here's the problem with that now. Considering they're dropping the numbers, and they're all hit, he can't really. Well,
but
how
Jeff does have a good position here.
Can't really go into the aggression. Like, I would pick an SRS in a map like this if I wasn't fully aware of how I would have to play it in a semi-aggressive stance.
Yeah, but Jeff's got a pretty good spot here.
Yeah, he's actually come around.
Oh, is that a timeout?
That was a timeout.
Well, that will be the end of the game there. Final score 5-3 for All Hammer, No Sickle.
Yep. It seems like Hammer is actually going to move into the next map.
Sorry, I misspoke. 4-3 is the final score on Threadplay for All Hammer, No Sickle. Next map will be, what was it again? Balustrade, that's right.